If you've not already tried it, Assetto Corsa in VR is probably one of the most immersive and fun experiences you can have with any car game. From drifting to sim racing, it just makes that experience so much more special, so much more engaging, and I'd highly recommend it to anyone that's not already tried it. And if you're watching this video, you may have already got a headset or you may be contemplating it, and in this video I'm just going to show you how simple it is to set up VR to play Assetto Corsa, and also the best way to manage the settings, as it can be quite complicated when you're managing two devices with processing units. But this video is going to focus mostly on lower end PCs, higher FPS, and of course if you're on a higher level gaming PC I will explain what you can do with the settings to sort of see how you can get the most out of the headset. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So let's get started with a checklist, and the first and foremost obvious one is going to be the VR headset, so either the Oculus Quest 2 or Oculus Quest 3, because that's what this video is aimed at. The most important part to go with the headset is actually going to be the link cable, and this might surprise you, so I'm going to go into a bit of detail, but I'm going to try not make it too overwhelming. The basics are, you can buy a cheap cable if you're on a lower end PC, as the throughput rate isn't going to be as important. If you're on a higher end PC and you want to maximise graphics and that's what's more important to you, and you still want good FPS along with the graphics, then you are going to want to buy the genuine Oculus link cable. This will however cost you a pretty penny at £89 currently when I check on Amazon. However, the one I'm using cost around £15. I've had it for a while now, but I'll put a link in the description below. I get pretty good FPS. You may have seen the gameplay in the introduction. Didn't look too great, but that's because I'm also using OBS to record the software, or game even, which is very GPU demanding, and I don't have the best PC in the world. But for me, it's not about the graphics, it's more the FPS, the enjoyment. Again, at the end of the day, it is a game, but I definitely prioritise the FPS over the graphics, so it depends what you're working with. But just for reference on the graphics, I've got a 1660 Ti, which is considered just enough for Assetto Corsa. I know there's people with probably lower graphics cards than what I've got that are managing to play the game, but if you're around the same level as me, do the same settings as me, but I'll go into more detail when we get over to the next part of the checklist, which is the Oculus Link app, and I'll show you through that now. Oh, almost forgot, you're also going to need Steam VR as well. So, step one, you just want to come to the Meta store, link will be in the description, and you just want to scroll down, and there you'll see the option to download the app. Just click on that and install it to wherever you want. I'm just going to install it to my desktop. So once you've got the Oculus Link app, you just want to run the setup process from the desktop and make sure your headset is plugged in so it can register at the same time. Next you want to go into Steam. You want to go into the search bar at the top, and you just want to search for Steam VR all in one word, and it is a free application within Steam, and you just want to click install. As you can see, I've already got it, so it says play now, but for you, you'll be able to install it. So once that's all installed and you've opened the Oculus app, it's nice and easy. You just want to grab your headset, plug it into your PC or laptop, and make sure it's turned on for this next step. So from the home page, you just want to go to devices, and if your headset is turned on and it's ready to go, it will say active with a tick. It may say not connected, just make sure that your headset is turned on and ready to go. As you can see, mine's ready to go, so you just want to click the arrow to open up the next set of settings, and then you want to go down to advanced and graphics preferences. So I'm going to try and put this into some simple terms just so it's easy for anyone to understand if you don't understand refresh rates. And I'm not going to lie, I'm no expert, but a good rule of thumb is think of your refresh rate as your FPS. So fully experimental, again I'll mention my PC specs, it's a 1660 Ti NVIDIA graphics card. So I'm running at 80 and it seems to be the right number for me. If you've got a more powerful GPU, some people on a 2060 are still sticking around the 80 Hz mark. You can go higher, again, be fully experimental with it. This is just a baseline foundation settings guide. If you're on a lower end PC, maybe go with 72. Mine's probably not even made for 80, but it works for now. I just need to be a bit more experimental, but if you want to get the gameplay like I've got at the start, then copy these settings. The more important one is actually going to be the rendering resolution down at the bottom. As you can see, I've got it unticked for being automatic, but I have actually left it at the automatic setting. Again, personally, I'm doing some trial and error just to see what sort of resolution I can get whilst recording without hurting my FPS too much. And to be honest, because my PC is not the best, I am struggling, so mine is quite low at the minute, but I would recommend toying with this feature. So start off at the default 1x and maybe go up to 1.1, 1.2. Fully trial and error, again, depends what you want to get out of it. So essentially that is the resolution that you're going to be seeing, and obviously the higher that goes, the more demanding it's going to be. But also, if it can't handle such a resolution, you're just going to have lag, FPS drop, and it's not going to be fun. So start off low and work upwards is my recommendation. So now into the content manager portion, and this is one of the last steps, so we're going to go through this fairly quickly. Again, a lot of this is going to be experimental, but I'm going to show you my settings, and these could be the ones that are best going to apply to you if you've got a similar PC setup or lower than mine. Again, I'll give you some guidance as to what you can change if you've got a higher or lower spec PC. So as usual, up here, go into the settings tab. You want to go onto Assetto Corsa, and then you want to go onto video. So the first thing you want to do is change the rendering mode to Oculus Rift. That is the one you want to use if you've got the Oculus headset, of course. In terms of the settings here, these are ones I've sort of copied off videos before, so I know this doesn't necessarily align with what we've done on the Oculus Link app. However, here where it talks about frame rate, this is where it is relevant to the hertz that you selected earlier. So you want to make sure that you limit the frame rate, make sure that box is ticked, and you want to put the FPS to 1 above the hertz number that you went with. So if you went with 72, cap the frames at 73 FPS. If you've gone for 80, 81, 90, 91, and so on. As for the rest of the settings, fully experimental. It just completely depends on how your PC can process it. You can try turning a lot of these things off and turning them back on and see what sort of performance you get. As you can see, if you look at the top left, I've got my previous session performance, which is 42.8 FPS, which is extremely low, but bearing in mind, I only play in VR, and the last time I was playing in VR was when I was recording the screen with OBS to make these sorts of videos, so that does have a big impact, and it cuts it by about half, funnily enough. So that's what, 84 FPS ballpark, so I'm going to assume that it's actually 81, so it's roughly half the FPS that I've lost with screen recording, so it's fairly consistent. So depends what's important to you with what you want to change. Again, like I say, depends on your PC, fully experimental. Luckily within Content Manager, you've got these little eye icons that basically tell you how much of an impact it's going to have on your setup. So if I go on to the different ones, so that's not going to have much of an impact on my PC. World details is set to high, that doesn't have much of an impact. What I look for is green, so start off with as many things as possible in green. Shadow resolution, obviously I've got in yellow, but you want some sort of quality to the shadows. If it's not that important, you can drop that down, but for me filming on YouTube, it's nice. But if you're drifting or racing and you're looking for apexes, or you're sideways and you've got tyre smoke on, it doesn't matter. And I mean, speaking of which, I've put tyre smoke on maximum, which is very demanding, but if I'm drifting, I want to be seeing the tyre smoke. So mirrors, for example, I have mine sort of like a slightly over halfway. Reason being, game modes like no hesi in VR, you want your mirrors to function, but you also don't want them to absolutely kill your FPS. So that's quite a high performance hit, but I prefer that. That's the sacrifice I make, and you can make all the sacrifices you want. Again, fully experimental. Feel free to copy everything I've got on screen now, completely up to you. And the only other place where you're going to want to have a little tweak with the settings is the custom shaders patch. So within custom shaders patch, there are a load of settings down here on the left. different ones are going to have a different impact on VR. Some of them may do, some of them may not. There's nothing that really stands out to me in here that's worth mentioning, other than obviously general graphics intensive things. Anything that's going to be graphically intensive is going to be a killer for VR. So whatever you've got on in here, just make sure you have a play. Things like lighting, grass, shadows, tyre smoke, rain, reflections, anything sort of obvious, have a play around with it. Again, if you're really struggling, I'd always recommend just go full bare bones, turn everything off, turn everything down, and just start adding things back in. So I'll do a very quick fly through of my sort of settings if you did want to have a quick look, but I don't want to take up too much time to go through this, because again, fully depends on your PC. Everything is different for everyone. Even if we had the exact same PC, yours might be newer, yours might still be running a lot stronger than mine, so it's very hard to sort of share all these settings. But have a play around with these, get experimental. I've turned a lot of things off just to sort of prioritize the FPS, although tyre smoke, as I said before, is a priority. So once you've done all of this and you've got Steam open in the background, Steam VR should automatically work. If not, you can go into Steam and then boot up Steam VR. So as you can see, it's loaded here in the bottom left. It's not a full application. As you can see, if I go to my desktop, I've still got a little icon here. It's just a little side icon. That just means it's live and ready to go. And now all you need to do is get the game ready to go. So have your headset plugged in, and then you want to connect to Quest Link. And then once you're on this dashboard, you don't have to do anything. You just have to hover over to Content Manager, peer through the side of your Oculus headset, and then you want to click Go. So once you're in the game, you just play with your settings as normal, whatever you'd normally do. So there's two ways you can control the cursor. So you're looking for the little orange dot. So you can either use the mouse or the Oculus controller. But I think it's a lot easier using the mouse, especially if you've got a rig set up or you're sat at your desk. Using a mouse is a lot more easy to use. And that's it, you're good to go. Now if you've watched this ahead of time, I do have a tutorial on my channel on how to set up a steering wheel to play with Assetto Corsa, more specifically the Logitech G29 and G920 steering wheels. So if you've not got one of them set up, I do recommend watching that video. Link will be on the ending title. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions or you run into any issues, let me know in the comment section and I'll happily address them.